Shabbat Shalom. So if I had to name a theme that runs through the Torah, even perhaps the entire Hebrew Bible, there are a few that come to mind, but the one that I want to mention tonight is the following phrase: I am God, and you are not. I'm not speaking for myself. Think of the first two mitzvot that we find in the Ten Commandments, the first two commands of the Ten Commandments. I am the eternal your God who led you out of Egypt to be your God. And, number two, there shall be no other gods before me. We recognize one God and we reject at the same time the false gods and idols that surround us. I'm God, you are not. This assertion is also a recognition of humanity's hubris, which is so seemingly natural and innate to us, is it not? To say that God is God and we are not is a check on us. It encourages us to tap into a more desirable divine quality, that of anavah, that of humility. We human beings, we like to think very highly of ourselves, do we not? We are enamored with our own ingenuity, our own ability to act on the world, our own power. In this week's Torah portion, with the story of the Tower of Babel, we read a cautionary tale that reminds us of humanity's hubris. In Genesis chapter 11, we are told the following story: Vayhi chol haaretz safa echat udvarim achadim. Everyone on earth had the same language and the same words. They said to one another, "Come, let us make bricks and burn them hard." And they said, "Come, let us build a city and a tower with its top in the sky, to make a name for ourselves." There's the hubris. "Else we shall be scattered all over the world." Vayered Adonai lirot et ha'ir ve'et ha'migdal asher banu b'nei ha'adam. And God came down to see the city and to see that tower that humanity had built. And God said, if as one people, with one language for all of them, this is how they begin to act, then nothing that they may propose to do will be out of their reach. Let us then go down. Let us then confound their speech, so that they shall not understand one another's speech. So the eternal God scattered them from there over the face of the whole earth, and they stopped building the city. In this week's Torah portion, God becomes concerned that humanity has proven itself capable. We can build towers that scrape the firmaments and cities that are magnificent to behold. From one perspective, maybe, just maybe, God is intimidated by us. But maybe, as well, God already knows what happens when we are left to our own devices. We need to be reminded that our very mortality and our very morality can get the better of us sometimes. We may get ourselves into trouble that we don't intend with new technology. Keep in mind that the story of the Tower of Babel, this story that we just read, comes right after reading about the story of the flood and Noah, when all of humanity became lawless. And it's for that reason, both the story of the flood and the story of the Tower of Babel, that the Midrash claims that every 1,656 years, to be precise, humanity builds some sort of Tower of Babel and causes the firmaments to shake, prompting God to make a correction. Every 1,656 years, God comes along, confounds our speech, and reminds us that God is God, and we are not. And that maybe, yet again, just maybe, we should be willing to live with some checks and balances on our own abilities. The Tower of Babel reminds us that technological innovations contain within them both opportunities and threats. A knife, if you think about that for just a moment, is in and of itself not dangerous. It's about how it's used. For a sculptor, a knife can make something magnificent. Someone else might think of it and use it as a weapon. And we would do well to remember this now that artificial intelligence has found its way into regular streams of content. With the proliferation and now easy access to high-powered artificial intelligence tools, it is becoming harder to know what is real and what is a lie, what a computer has generated and what has actually happened in the world out there. This is the tool that we need to be paying attention to because it is impacting our understanding of the world around us. I'm going to give you two recent examples. It seems that this past week, everyone has been both disturbed by and fascinated by the heist that took place at the Louvre. The news articles all read like some sort of Netflix series. And in all of the chatter about the heist, there's an image that's been making its way around, I'll put it up here, of a dapperly dressed man standing outside the museum next to two uniformed officers who are giving him the side eye. Notice the way that his fedora is tilted just perfectly. The tie done just right, and just the color combinations seem a little too perfect. He seems like an anachronism, like something out of the Pink Panther in this already bizarre news story. And everyone seems to believe that it is this unidentified man who is the detective who's been assigned to the case. Some online, in studying this image, have wondered if, in fact, this entire picture that you are seeing right now is really a farce. Perhaps the entire thing that you are looking at right now is AI generated. Yet, AP photographer Thibodeau Camus, who was the one who shot this very image on the street near the Louvre, came out to tell the story behind the photograph. The man happened to be just a passerby. He has nothing to do with the police force tasked with solving the crime. Nothing about the image was doctored or photoshopped. Yet our fascination with what happened at the Louvre has led many to spin tales out of this image that was published around the news story. Now, we can trust the image that we are looking at, though the story around it is false. Yet there are other pictures and other videos that we certainly today can no longer trust. The second example of our own technological hubris, our own Tower of Babel, that is really taking root in the form of artificial intelligence, is best seen with a new platform launched by the company OpenAI, the group that's behind ChatGPT. This month, OpenAI launched a new product called Sora 2. Sora generates lifelike photographs and lifelike videos with simple prompts. You tell it what you're thinking, it'll give you a video of that. Yet what you see looks as if it is in the real world. Some have already shown, who have gained access to this software, have already shown how silly it can be. There's one popular video of a monkey riding a horse skiing downhill in the middle of the wintertime. I know you all want me to put that up on the screen. We had trouble loading it to our system, so just look it up online later. You'll find it immediately. But there are troubling videos as well. One New York Times investigation about Sora 2 was able to generate an image that looked like security camera footage of a man stuffing a ballot box on Election Day. This is a screenshot from a video that was reported on in the New York Times. What you're seeing here, none of this is real. The van doesn't exist. The box doesn't exist. The man doesn't exist. Wherever that is located is not a real location. And you see him in the video pulling in and out ballots out of this ambiguous ballot box. The only thing real in the image that you are seeing is the red line in the slight phrase at the top of the image that says generated by AI, which the editors at the New York Times put when they published this article. These same journalists who reported on this video that they created also created a video of a bomb exploding on an Israeli street. If you look at the image, you can see a car nearby with an Israeli license plate. You can see an Israeli flag blowing in the wind outside of a window. It is rather remarkable. It didn't happen. It's not real. And I found looking at that video in particular so disturbing I felt it irresponsible to even bring it into this space. These videos are fake. Yet if you had put that image in my social media feed, I would have believed it was real. This sort of technology, put into regular media streams and in a culture that is already so prone to conspiracy theories, so prone to disinformation, feels downright dangerous. AI tools like these could be used to scam loved ones. Fake videos could be used to blackmail or to terrorize others into thinking that something horrible has happened to one of our loved ones. I am typically quite positive towards new technologies, and I've personally found helpful many uses for AI. Yet, Sora 2 feels like a tower that might make the Almighty uncomfortable, and that might need to be a check on our own human ingenuity. There will be those who will fake images and try to manipulate us, those who try to break the system. Now, that being said, from a Jewish perspective, we do and have a response, one that is equally godlike. Because what we can do as a community, is to remember and be committed to our own sense of goodness, to be committed to compassion, and to be absolutely committed to our common humanity. The builders of the Tower of Babel coordinated to construct a tower that could reach the very heavens. Yet they also forgot that God is a loving God, endlessly patient, fully compassionate. They forgot that God is God in that way too, and we are not. Yet within us lives that best expression of God and humanity in partnership. What comes out when we generate love and compassion and care among one another. The Hebrew word for truth is the word emet, Aleph Mem Tav on the right side of the slide. Surely recognizing truth in a world of AI is getting harder. But emet, truth, is often paired in biblical and rabbinic literatures with another word, chesed, loving kindness. That word pair, chesed ve'emet, appears 23 times in the Hebrew Bible. It appears quite often in rabbinic literature. Truth is found in parallel to love, goodness, and care. As my teacher, Rabbi Rachel Adler, writes, both in interpersonal relations and in public affairs, truth is to be balanced with concerns about its human impact. That is why it is supplemented by the values of compassion, justice, and peace. Widespread untruth is a symptom of social collapse, she writes. Yet widespread truth and loving kindness is what sustains a society. So let us commit to one another, to focusing on the kindness that is around us, because that is real. And it is a counterbalance to everything else we see out there. Let us commit to focusing on love when expressed in earnest, because that is real, and again is a counterbalance. And let us commit to caring, because we know what that really feels like. It is a true counterbalance. God gets to be God, and we get to be humanity. And in our humanity, we have an instinct to build and to strive to be like God. And so let us be builders, yet let us be constructive. Let us build structures that speak of care, how we take care of one another. Let us build systems that preserve life and that don't sow confusion or panic or lawlessness. Now, certainly there will be moments where someone will do something unrighteous. That's one of the messages of this week's Torah portion. But let us commit to doing what is just and good, to doing what draws out God's chesed ve'emet, what draws out God's sense of loving kindness and truth. Shabbat shalom.